Okay, Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 5. And so for today's presentation, our group chose topic 2, which is the occurrence of food poisoning in the past 20 years until now in Malaysia. And I will be the first presenter. My name is Siti Ashmita Syari, S54572.
Right. And I will be your second presenter. My name is Muhammad Nuim bin Hassan. My metric number is S54929.
My name is Fatina Aisyah binti Zainuddin, S56491, and I'm going to be the third presenter.
My name is Mastura binti Samsudin. My metric number is S54399, and I'm going to be your fourth presenter.
My name is Izwan bin Safri, S55009. I will be the last presenter.
So food poisoning can be caused by toxin, bacteria, virus, and parasite. So first is toxin, which are paralytic shellfish poisoning and ciguatera fish poisoning. So first report of PSP was along the coast of Sabah in 1970s. Since then, the dinoflagellate Pyridinium bahamis has been responsible for PSP events in Sabah. And cystic, it jumps intoxicated with the consuming contaminated shellfish, and this incident is believed to have been caused by the ignorance of the public towards the shellfish ban. And the next is ciguatera fish poisoning. It is first reported in 2010. Two additional outbreaks of CFP were confirmed between 2017 and 2019. It is associated with the consumption of blood jelly imported from China. And the next is typhoid fever and the cholera. So typhoid fever is caused by bacteria called Salmonella typhi. The signs of infections are fever, headache, loss of appetite, and stomachache. While cholera is caused by the Vibrio cholera, it infects in the intestinal tract and occurs toxin secretion of the microorganisms. And next is virus, which is hepatitis. It is a disease infecting the liver and is caused by a virus called HAV or hepatitis A virus. It can be spread via contaminated food and drink, and symptoms of infection include jaundice, anorexia, malaise, and intense tiredness. And the last is dysentery. It is an infection that leads to severe diarrhea that contains mucus in the feces. And the parasites that causes dysentery is Entamoeba histolytica, and bacteria is Shigella dysenteria. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to Dr. Ulfa and to all my fellow friends. My name is Muhammad Nuim Hassan, and today I will be presenting to you about the data of food poisoning cases for the past 20 years in Malaysia. Alright, so right now I'm sharing with you is the graph which shows the occurrence of food poisoning in Malaysia from the year 2000 until 2018. And as you can see, the trend is inconsistent, which where some years shows an inclination and some years shows a declination in food poisoning cases. And the most interesting part is, from my readings from journals and from laws of Malaysia and food regulations, I saw that there are direct correlations of the activities and initiatives that have been taken by the government, which directly correlates towards this trend. Okay, so those are actually the efforts of the government in reducing food poisoning cases in Malaysia. Okay, so the first one, which has been approved and launched in 2001, is the National Food Safety and Nutritional Council, or also known as the NFSNC. This project is, of course, the main objective is to ensure food safety, but also the consumer's well-being is also reassured by strengthening the food safety statistics at all levels of the food supply chain in the country. Okay, and as you can see from the graph, from the 2001 until 2005, the trend shows a declination of food poisoning cases, which shows that this project gave a very significant impact towards the food poisoning cases in Malaysia. Next is the Information Communication Technology, or ICT. There are two systems that have been made to initiate this project, which is the first one is Food Safety System for Malaysia, or also known as FOSIM, and also Food Control Management System for export to European Union. So this project is initiated in 2011, and as you can see from the trend, it says from the year 2011 to 2012 it dropped by 20.12%, which shows a significant difference in the graph. This activity is initiated to support the Food Safety and Quality Program, which involves development, enhancement and acculturation of ICT. Another project that have been initiated in 2011 is the Domestic Compliance Branch, which its subsector is the inspection of and closure of food premises. In the year 2011, a total of 98,000 food premises were inspected, and out of all those food premises, 3.52% of them have been found unhygienic and were closed under the Section 11 Food Act 1983. And along with the information communication technology, we can see that from the year 2011, the cases dropped in 2012. Next is HACCP, or its abbreviation is for Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point. And this HACCP certification scheme was approved in 1997, and the main purpose of this project is to facilitate the food industries that complies with the HACCP requirements. And over the period of 6 years, of 2005 till 2011, there are 221 HACCP certificates that had been issued under this scheme. And since its launch in 2001, the trend for food poisoning cases dropped until 2005. However, after 2005, the cases of food poisoning is inconsistent. GMP, or Good Manufacturing Practices, is a certification scheme that was launched by the Honourable Minister of Health on the 19th of December 2006. And you can see from the graph that the certification of GMPs on food processing establishments really aids in lowering the frequency of food poisoning cases on the year 2012. Other than that, there are also food handlers training schools, which has been launched in 2011, and similar to the ICT project and also to the Domestic Compliance Branch, these have been given good feedback on the project on the year 2012.
So I'm going to present about the regulation in Malaysia food safety. So the first thing first, as we all know, Malaysia people, they love to eat really much. They will choose upon taste rather than safety itself. So this dangerous lah, because they never focusing on the food hygiene. This effect on Malaysian people, this proven effect on Malaysian people on 1988, which 13 children was died consuming noodles in the same manufacturer. In postmortem studies, they found that in the noodles there is a boric acid and inflatoxin. And boric acid is used in the pesticide or insecticide, and also used as disinfectant. So the regulators and enforcers that involved in this regulation made is, the first one is Ministry of Health, which EU recognized competent authority for HACCP certification fish or fish product. EU is European Union. Okay. The second one that involved is Ministry of Agriculture, and the third one is local authorities, and the fourth one is customs, that is involved in import or export product. And the last one is religious authorities, which more focusing on halal product, but it's not involved in the food safety, so it's never involved lah as a regulators and enforcers. Okay. So the food legislation, the first one is Food Act 1983. From the Food Act 1983, there upgrade into Food Regulation 1985. The main part is Food Act 1983, where the Food Act 1983 they become the main reference for the other food regulation to improve. Okay, so the Food Regulation 1985, and then the Food Hygiene Regulation 2009, and the last one is Food Regulation 2009 also, but it's more into issuance of health certificate export of fish and fish product to EU. Okay, so next is the Food Act 1983 and the Food Regulation 1985. The main as we all know that I say before, that main legislation is the Food Act 1983. In 1 October 1985, the Food Act 1983 and the Food Regulation 1985 came into force. So these two, when these two became into force, the main aims of this regulation is to protect the public against food-related hazard and fraud, as well as to promote and motivate the preparation, handling, distribution, sale, and consumption of safe, high-quality food. Okay, so next, the strategies. The strategies used in this Food Act 1983 and the Food Regulation 1985 is first one is to review and update legislation and strengthen the infrastructure. The second one is to enhance collaboration between government agencies, consumer bodies, academia, industry, and international organization. The third one is develop a trained manpower resource. And the last one is educate consumer to raise awareness of food safety issues. And also the last one is the hardest part and still becoming an issue, because as we all know, Malaysian people, they choose taste rather than safety itself. So this ideology of them made a dangerous part in food safety, because they never choose the regulation, but they choose the taste. Even though the education was done at school or mass media itself, but it's never became focused and chosen by the people of Malaysia itself. Okay. So next is the Food Hygiene Regulation 2009. The Food Hygiene Regulation 2009, and on 25 February 2009, the Food Hygiene Regulation of 2009 was done. On 28 February 2009, the Food Regulation 2009 was focusing on issuance of health certificate for export of fish and fish product to European Union. Okay, and the next one is 12 March 2009. The Food Regulation 2009 was amendment. Okay, so the specific objective, the main objective of this regulation is to provide an infrastructure to control the hygiene and safety of food sold in the country to protect public health. And then the specific objective is, first one is to ensure food premises are hygienic and satisfactory in terms of design and building. Second one is to ensure food handler maintain personal hygiene and avoid practices that can contaminate food. To ensure equipment and appliance used are suitable, clean and easy to clean. To facilitate, strengthen and harmonize the enforcement activities in food premises, including those conducted by the local authorities. And lastly, to provide for requirement of mandatory food safety assurance programs such as HACCP, GHP, and GMP in food factories. Okay.
So I am going to explain about the incidents related to food and waterborne diseases in Malaysia. Based on Graph 1, from 2009 to 2011, there is an increase of cases related to cholera, food poisoning, and hepatitis A, but decreases of cases related to dysentery. In 2011 to 2013, there is an increase of cases related to dysentery, but decreases of cases involving of cholera, typhoid, and hepatitis A. Meanwhile, for food poisoning diseases, there is decreases in 2012, but the disease gets increased in 2013. For mortality, based on graph 2, mortality caused by cholera has been occurred from 2005 to 2011, but no cases was reported in the next 2 years. There was no mortality reported in 2012 related to all foodborne diseases, but in 2013, food poisoning and typhoid has caused death to human. Mortality rate caused by food poisoning in 2013 is the highest from 2004 to 2013. Why these incidents happen? First, lack of knowledge, attitude, and practice towards food safety. Based on a research onto several food handlers which come from different area, age, and gender, the results are different from each other. For example, age influence the level of knowledge, where the older have high knowledge of food safety compared to the young one. Also, when a person works for a long time, they basically have more knowledge compared to the others. Next, lack of awareness of the importance of food hygiene. According to Ministry of Health, the unsanitary food handling procedure has contributed to 50% of the cases of foodborne illnesses in Malaysia. They do not care about the environment of their workplace, either clean or not, and process the food. Food handlers might be neglecting the food safety guidelines during attend the training. So, when this happens, the food hygiene will not be cared by the premise owners and the food safety become neglected. Next, law enforcement of food safety was done to the food handlers. The inspection towards the premise owner about attending the food handling session is low. And last, neglecting the importance of hygiene and sanitation might be the reason why these incidents happen in our country. Due to the neglecting the importance of safe food handling in the kitchen, the growth of microbial pathogens was occurred rapidly under various conditions. When the number of microbial pathogens is high, the possibility of the disease increase, which may lead to death.
For the conclusion, we can see that all the regulations are constructed by contribution of many ministry and agencies such as Ministry of Health, Ministry of Agriculture and local authorities. One of the action taken to improve food safety is set up a regular inspection for food processing premises. The inspection including food sample analysis. To make sure all consumers have knowledge in choosing a better food product, consumers have been educated about a criteria of good quality food which will avoid harm and other bad health impact among consumers. As a result, consumers start to choose a better food product because most of food processing premises obedient to a right regulation in producing a safe, hygiene and clean food product. For example, in food hygiene regulation, food that want to be processed need a clean and hygiene environment both for storage and building. By using the regulation as a guidance, food product will be produced in good condition. Disease and death can be prevented because some ingredient in food may contain harmful agents such as bacteria, parasitic agent and viral agent that can cause bad impact to human health. By trusting the regulation made by the Ministry of Health, consumer can consume food product without hesitate because the safety are guaranteed.